Imagine coming home to find your own backyard chained shut like a crime scene. Courtesy of the neighborhood busybody who thinks she owns the air you breathe. And the kicker? It's all over a pool that's been there longer than her inflated ego. In the sun-drenched suburbs of Maple Ridge, California, where picket fences hit a pressure cooker of petty tyrannies, lived Alex Rivera, a quiet software engineer in his mid-40s. Alex had inherited his modest ranch-style house from his late uncle, a Vietnam vet who'd turned the backyard into a sanctuary. The centerpiece? A sparkling kidney-shaped pool, built in the 80s with sweat and sheer willpower, complete with a faded mosaic of tropical fish at the bottom. Uncle Joe used to joke it was his therapy tub, where he'd float away the nightmares. Alex kept it pristine. Not for show, but as a nod to the old man. Mornings, he'd skim leaves in silence, watching the water ripple like forgotten memories. The neighborhood was postcard perfect, manicured lawns, kids on bikes, barbecues on weekends. But beneath the gloss lurked the HOA, a self-appointed cabal enforcing standards that made North Korea look lax. Enter Barbara "Barb" Whitaker, the HOA president, a peroxide blonde in her late 50s. Always in pastel cardigans and pearls, spouting platitudes about community harmony while wielding her bylaws like a guillotine. Barb had clawed her way to the top 3 years ago, turning meetings into her personal TED Talks on moral superiority. We're all in this together, she'd coo, right before slapping someone with a fine for a crooked mailbox. The trouble started innocently enough. Or so it seemed. One crisp autumn afternoon, Alex was lounging poolside with a coffee when a shadow fell over the fence. There stood Barb, flanked by her minions, 2 board members, Ed the retired accountant with a perpetual squint, and Marlene, a yoga instructor who nodded like a bobblehead. Barb clutched her ever-present clipboard, lips pursed in that signature mix of pity and power. "Mr. Rivera," she called out sweetly, like she was offering lemonade instead of an ambush. "We've had reports about your aquatic feature." Alex blinked, setting down his mug. "My pool? What's wrong with it?" Barb sighed dramatically, as if explaining gravity to a toddler. "It violates our updated setback guidelines. The edge is a whopping 2 feet too close to the property line. We can't have that. Think of the aesthetics, the safety, the property values." Alex chuckled inwardly, but kept his face neutral. He'd heard the whispers, how Barb had rammed through these updates at a meeting attended by her cronies and a stray cat. The pool predated the HOA by decades, approved by the county after Uncle Joe fought tooth and nail in a zoning hearing. A judge had stamped it legal, calling it a testament to American grit. But Barb waved that away like a pesky fly. "Rules evolve, dear. You'll need to drain it or fill it in. We'll send the formal notice." As she turned, her heels clicking triumphantly on the sidewalk, Alex watched her go. He didn't yell or protest. Instead, he pulled out his phone and snapped a photo of the scene, the queen bee strutting off, oblivious to the storm she was brewing. Inside, he felt a spark, not rage, but a cool, calculating resolve. This wasn't just about water, it was about erasing a legacy for the sake of her control-freak fantasies. The first notice arrived the next day, tucked into his mailbox like a venomous love letter, printed on official HOA letterhead. It listed the violation in bullet points, each more absurd than the last: encroachment on communal visual space, potential hazard to migratory birds, and a fine of $500 if not addressed in 14 days. Alex read it twice, smirking at the irony, Barb preaching about birds while her own McMansion had floodlights that turned night into day. He filed it away in a drawer labeled nonsense, adding a sticky note, Exhibit A. Rumors spread like wildfire at the next block party. Neighbors murmured over potato salad, heard Alex is turning his yard into a swamp. Barb says it's a safety risk, kids could drown. Alex overheard it all from his porch. Sipping iced tea. He didn't correct them, let the grapevine twist itself. But when a second notice came, threatening liens on his property, he decided to test the waters. At the monthly HOA meeting in the stuffy community center, under a flickering fluorescent bulb, Alex signed in quietly. Barb held court at the front, her voice dripping honeyed authority. Next item, compliance updates. She glanced at him with feigned surprise. Ah. Mr. Rivera. Care to address your infraction? Alex stood, unfolding the original county approval from his pocket. This pool was grandfathered in by Judge Harlan back in '85. It's legal as apple pie. The room shifted uncomfortably. Barb's smile tightened, eyes narrowing like a cat spotting a rival. That was then. Sweetie. Our community has standards now. We vote for progress. Ed chimed in robotically, I. Progress. A few neighbors chuckled nervously. But Alex caught the eye of his neighbor Tom, a former city planner sipping coffee in the back. Tom winked subtly, message received. As the meeting dragged on with Barb's monologues about elevating our enclave, Alex slipped out, noting how she avoided eye contact. That night, he emailed Tom, got any dirt on these updates? Tom's reply came quick, she's stacking the deck. Half the boards are bridge club buddies. Things escalated faster than a bad reality show. The notices piled up, third, fourth, fifth, each escalating the absurdity. One cited excessive reflectivity causing glare to adjacent properties. Alex laughed out loud at that one, his pool wasn't a disco ball. But the humor darkened when anonymous complaints flooded in, loud splashing disturbing peace, unapproved chlorine levels. Then, the photos appeared in the HOA newsletter. A grainy shot of his backyard captioned eyesore alert, non-compliant oasis. Neighbors started avoiding him, old Mrs. Patel crossed the street, muttering about troublemakers. Alex kept his cool, documenting everything, timestamps, metadata. Even the way the envelopes smelled faintly of Barb's floral perfume. One evening, he came home to find orange tape crisscrossing his gate. A sign reading restricted access, HOA order. Barb had sent a compliance team, really just Ed with a staple gun, to seal it off. What the hell? Alex muttered, snipping the tape with garden shears. He called the police non-emergency line, who laughed it off as HOA drama but lauded it. Inside, he seated with that laugh to keep from punching fury. Barb's next move? She filed bogus reports with his insurance, claiming the pool was a liability vortex. His premiums spiked overnight. Alex traced it back, her emails, leaked by a sympathetic board insider. Reeked of manipulation, this resident is defiant, protect our values. He shared a beer with Tom on the porch, the pool lights twinkling mockingly. She's like a bad Bond villain, Tom quipped. All monologues. No brains. Alex nodded. But his mind raced, time to assemble the Avengers. He reached out to his cousin Lena, a sharp-tongued real estate lawyer, and dug up Judge Harlan's contact, now retired, but still feisty. The pressure cooker hissed louder. Barb ramped up the sabotage, his pool pump mysteriously jammed with leaves that weren't from his trees. Footprints led to her side of the fence. Calls from the county assessor questioned his title, all traced to her tips. At a special hearing she convened, dubbed Integrity Summit, Barb paraded witnesses, Marlene claiming the pool disrupted her zen, Ed droning about fiscal responsibility. Alex sat silently, letting her rant. Mr. Rivera thinks he's above us, she declared, voice quivering with faux indignation. But harmony demands sacrifice. The room tittered uneasily, one guy in the back snorted. When it was his turn, Alex slid forward a folder. Here's the judge's order. And these? Your emails forging complaints. Barb's face drained of color. But she recovered with a huff. Misinterpretations. I'm protecting us all. Laughter rippled, dark. Incredulous. Tom stood up, protecting your ego. You mean? The meeting devolved into chaos. Barb banging her gavel like a toddler with a hammer. Alex walked out. Heart pounding. But with a grin. Lena called that night, we've got her. Fraud. Harassment, the works. And Judge Harlan? He's in. They built the case meticulously, emails. Photos. Affidavits. Barb's desperation peaked with a personal visit. Her face a mask of strained civility. Alex. Dear. Let's settle privately. Drain the pool. And this ends. He leaned on the gate. Casual. Or what? You'll find the fish next. Her eyes flashed fury. But she stormed off. Pearls clacking. The courtroom was a powder keg under bright, unforgiving lights. Barb sat primly. Lawyer at her side. Projecting wounded innocence. Your Honor, her attorney intoned. Miss Whitaker acted in good faith for the community. Lena rose. Voice like velvet over steel. Good faith? Let's see the forgeries. She projected emails, Barb's signature on fake inspector reports. Gasps echoed. Judge Harlan. Called as witness. Leaned into the mic, I approved that pool myself. It's as legal as my gavel. Barb squirmed. Face twisting from smug to splotchy red panic. But. Standards, she sputtered. Lena pounced, standards like tampering with pumps? Or lying to insurers? The evidence avalanche buried her, neighbors testifying to her bullying. Tom exposing rigged votes. Barb's lawyer stammered objections. But the judge shut him down, this isn't governance, it's gangsterism. In her final meltdown, Barb pointed at Alex, he's the disruptor. Ruining our perfect neighborhood. The room erupted in laughter, bitter. Cathartic. The judge banged his gavel, HOA fined $100,000. Miss Whitaker. Barred for life. Plus personal damages. Barb's jaw dropped. Eyes bulging in hoarded defeat. Alex met her gaze. Offering a mild shrug, harmony. Right? The fallout was sweeter than revenge pie. Barb's house hit the market within weeks. Her pastel empire crumbling. Whispers turned to cheers, finally. Someone stood up. The new board. Sans or cronies. Scrap the silly rules. Even hosting a pool party at Alex's, irony on ice. Neighbors apologized over burgers, we were scared. Alex waved it off. But inside, he felt the hollowness fill. He sat by the pool that night. Feet in the water. Uncle Joe's mosaic winking up. The water lapped gently, washing away the grime of months. Maple Ridge breathed easier. Fences mended not with tape but trust. But as the sun set, Alex pondered the absurdity. One woman's power trip nearly drowned a legacy. Was Barb the villain? Or just a symptom of a system that lets Karen's rule unchecked? Or was Alex wrong to drag it out? Should he have just filled the damn pool and moved on? Who's the real tyrant here, the rule enforcer or the silent majority that lets them thrive?